Hey guys, there's a ton of WordPress plugins out there and it can be tough to know which ones are worth it. I'm going to show you the 12 plugins I use on every site I build in 2024. Plus stick around to the end for a quick tip on creating a style guide to keep everything consistent. Let's dive right in. First up is Advanced Custom Fields Pro. It's a game changer for making your content dynamic and flexible without writing a ton of code. So it's really quick to make a post type and custom fields. And it's great for things like let's say a dog grooming website where there's a list of services. And I'm going to show you just really quickly how this works. So I'm in ACF right here. We go to post types and we create a new post type. So I'm going to go ahead and make one called services. It asks us for the plural label. This is the post type key, which ends up actually being the slug of your post. And we save it. Another cool thing here, we can choose the custom icon that we'd like to use for it, make it stick out in our menu, and what we get is a custom post type. Anytime you see a thing like this in the WordPress dashboard where it has a menu registered with a list of items like this, it's a custom post. So I'm going to go ahead and make a custom post. This makes it easy to keep our services separate from things like news. Additionally, we can go like this and create a field group. I already have a field group here, which I use in my default Blueprint site. And what it's for is for some basic customizations, some basic logos. I'll show you more later I'll show you more later in my style guide where this has become useful, but this is a custom field group that's attached to the options page and it's called configuration. So I'm going to make a custom field group and we're going to add it to the service post type. And I'm just going to call the field group services. Now we can add a field. So let's say we're dog grooming and we need to add a label for, or a field for the price. So we can add a field for the price directly to our custom post. And this lets the user edit site content really, really easily. So I'm going to go back to my service. I'm going to edit it. Let's change this to dog grooming. We scroll down here and we've got a price field. We're going to say 45 bucks and save it. In another video, I'll show you how to take advantage of that to actually create a template that will show it on the page. As you can see, we have the service post type and it used the default slug when I called the item service. I'm going to change it here and call this dog grooming like that. Save it and we can go view it. As you can see here, so we get really nice structure where you can separate things like services from things like news and blog posts. The other thing it does is it helps make things clear for Google search and search engine optimization. It also writes these URLs to your sitemap, which gets submitted to Google. Overall, ACF is an indispensable plugin that I use on every site I build. Next, we've got Automatic.css. This plugin makes your site styling so much easier. It keeps everything consistent across your pages and saves you time with responsive design. No more fiddling with individual settings. When I think about how many sites I've built without Automatic.css, it makes me want to cry. I'm going to take you for a quick spin here. So I'm going to create a template and we're going to apply it to the custom post I made, and I will take you for a quick spin in Automatic.css. So here is a template for the service single. Give it a single template type. We're going to publish it, and then we can go right into Bricks. So we need to launch Bricks to really see what Automatic CSS does for us. And so there's a shortcut, Control-Shift-O, and here is Automatic CSS. So what it does is it is a CSS framework that lets us easily choose colors for our site, and you can view it in real time. So let's say that was the action color. We choose a different primary color. And very quickly, we can change the entire theme and style of a website. That was just the color palette. We can set things like typography, spacing, different spacing for sections versus headers, buttons and links, background, alternate background colors, and create some really easy classes where we can use to style things consistently. So I'm going to show you how that works. Here I'm adding a section in Bricks, just a regular section. Now I add a heading and I add basic text. I'm going to add them inside my section. And we are going to give our section a background color. So this is the framework right here. We can preview things, and you'll recognize the colors in the classes in these drop downs here, where they match the presets we had picked earlier. Now I don't need to remember what color of blue I want it to use. I select a class and say it's my primary color. And then I say, is it light text or is it dark text? So I choose my text-light. And for my body copy, I'll use a class called text light muted, which is not quite as contrasty as the heading. And off I go. So very simple CSS framework to use. It is a complicated idea to wrap your head around, but is very simple to use once you get into it. So I would highly encourage you to check it out and use it on your work. Next up is BricksUltimate. I've installed this plugin for only one reason, and that is because I use gravity forms, and Bricks does not style gravity forms well. BricksUltimate has a widget for styling gravity forms, and I will show you a quick sample of how it can do that well. So again, this is my blueprint site template. I've got one on dark, I've got one on light. It does focus styles, and it makes it very easy to style a contact form really well. When you use it, it gives you all of the gravity forms integrations out of the box. Bricks has a pretty good form builder built in, but as usual, Breakdance does this too. Very nice form builder, very poor management abilities, because what you get with gravity forms is all of your forms in one place. You could have a list of forms here, and you've got one form. You want to make a change to the form, you know where to go. If you use Bricks or Breakdance to build your forms, you're going to the page, editing the page, and if you have that form on multiple pages, you're needing to make the change in multiple places, which gets really tedious really quickly. So gravity forms and BricksUltimate for the win. Code Snippets is a plugin I use on every site. What it lets me do is quickly add functionality to WordPress without having to dig too far. It's great when you're building and developing. Typically, best practice would be to move your code from code snippets into your functions.php when you launch the site. But it's a great way when you're building and needing quick access without having to dive into File Manager to edit your theme file without leaving the WordPress dashboard. Here's a screenshot of code snippets, and here are 37 of my most commonly used code snippets. Code snippets is my go-to for custom functionality. Often you'll find a code snippet on the internet and you need to put it into your site for it to work. Best practice is to move these functions into the functions.php file of your theme when you launch a site, but code snippets is great for when you're working on the site in dev to easily turn them on and off and edit them without leaving the WordPress dashboard. They turn on and off with the easy click of a button, and I have all kinds of code snippets here for doing things like changing the placeholder text on the WooCommerce checkout page, making image file names lowercase so they're neat when media is uploaded, disabling payment gateways based on role, sorting WP Grid Builder fastest numerically, modifying the My Account greeting in WooCommerce, custom shipping messages in the cart, modifying the place order button on the cart page, on and on. Anything you need to do, you can often do with a code snippet. Gravity Forms is one of the best form builders. We use it on every site we build. It has really good integrations, and we're not often doing really complex stuff. It does conditional logic and things like that. The main things we're using in Gravity Forms is the reCAPTCHA add-on for Google reCAPTCHA v3, and there is a combination of configuration that ends up working really, really well to block spam. So that combination is a combination of the reCAPTCHA add-on for Google reCAPTCHA v3. Google reCAPTCHA v2 is built into the default Gravity Forms plugin, but v3 is not. It's enabled by an add-on, which you need to install from here, down here, which enables v3. You put in your site key and your secret key from your Google reCAPTCHA dashboard, along with this setting here in the Gravity Form. Under Form Settings, you scroll to the very bottom, there's an option called Honeypot. The combination of those two plugins will stop spam in almost every case. We use it on every site we build. If you do just one or just the other. Next is Rank Math, which is a SEO plugin that we use. We used to use Yoast, and I bought Rank Math Premium or Rank Math Pro, and I like it better than I liked Yoast. My observation is that out of the box, Rank Math does a better job, and we're seeing better success with sites ranking well with less effort and with more default settings. It also lets you do SEO analysis. It lets you import your Google Analytics and those kinds of things. It also lets you import Google Analytics right into the dashboard so you can view your site traffic without leaving your WordPress dashboard. What I've found with Rank Math is that it does a better job of Google rich text snippets. So that's things like when you have a WooCommerce store and your product has reviews on it, it will help Google to find and display your star rating for that product right in the Google search results, which can help to drive traffic and build confidence in your site versus competitors. It also has an easy sitemap and a very flexible way to configure breadcrumbs and breadcrumb taxonomy and hierarchy that shows in the product's pages of your WooCommerce site. The next plugin we use a lot is Reviews Feed Pro. It works really well, and the reason we've picked it is because it integrates very well with Google My Business and lets you pull all your reviews from the customer's Google My Business directly into his site. That can help build trust and engagement, and it updates them automatically. There's all kinds of free options out there which don't update automatically, but Reviews Feed Pro does. So it's a clear winner in the space. It also has other widgets that let you do things like, it's called a social wall, where you can import Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, from all of the customers' social feeds and bring them together into like one stream on the site where you're seeing all the different social feeds consolidated into one section of the site. And it lets you style them and embed them with a shortcode in the design of the site. Next up is WP Grid Builder. It lets you filter content. Where it's super useful is for shop pages on e-commerce websites. It can also be used to filter custom post types like the services post type I showed you earlier in the video. For it to work with Bricks, there's an additional plugin you need to install which enables facets and widgets in the builder for it so you can style it. Bricks Builder also has filtering built into it and it looks pretty slick. It uses Ajax. I noticed one of the things about it that's not great is that it doesn't create a query variable in the URL when things are filtered, and so you can't use it as a easy way to do a selection of filtering and then sending it in an email to a customer, where with Grid Builder you can. We can say the customer is asking about a product and we can easily make the selections in our store, and you'll see it adds the query variable size large in category books. I can copy that link, send it to the customer, he clicks it, and he'll see exactly what I see on the screen. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not certain about Bricks' filtering yet. Otherwise, it looks really smooth, and I like the fact that it's built in. I don't know how well it's going to work on a shop with 30 to 50,000 SKUs, where I do know that WP Grid Builder works well with that amount of SKUs because it builds a index that it uses to keep things moving quickly. There is free plugins out there that do this, but all of them eventually come to their knees when they have like large product catalogs. They are sluggish and the user experience just doesn't work for a big website. The page gets really sluggish and it's just a really poor experience to the point where you can't use it. I promised to show you a cool trick at the end of the video, and it is my style guide, which can help you keep things consistent on your site. It also can really help you to get a feel for how your site's going to look before you dive into building it. So what I've done is I've built out a configuration page in Advanced Custom Fields. I've branded it with my agency logo, name, and website, and 3 versions of the customer logo. So the first step would be to upload the logos here, create the versions if they don't exist, upload them here, and then you view them here. So we see the customer has the green logo and my blueprint site is black and blue. So the next step is to dive into Automatic.css, go to my color palette, and start with picking colors that are in the green space for my layout. Here, my primary color is going to be whatever color my logo is. I would have to open it in Illustrator to get the actual hex code, but I could match it exactly. I'm going to guess, we're going to save it, and we can quickly save our changes and get a sense for how this would look if we use it to build our site. We can say the accent color needs to be changed. This is maybe a little too bright, and so we'll mute it a little bit or make it a little brighter. Save it, and you could send this link to a client and say, hey, is this heading the right direction? Obviously that looks worse, but you get the gist. So this can work really well as a foundation. You can change your fonts and the theme and really quickly see some button styles with your action and primary, your accent colors, your H1, H2, and alternate backgrounds on light, on dark, on white. So that's my pro tip for the week. Let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.